Good evening, everyone. Today we're going to be doing a little lesson about fractions. Now we're going to review just a little bit about the terms about fractions and also be talking about adding and subtracting fractions. So go ahead and get out your notes, your vocabulary section of your flip book, and we're going to write this page down. Okay? You can pause this video and write this down at any point. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go over it. We all know the denominator. Now, this is something that we've been over in class a few times already. The denominator is always the number on the bottom of the fraction. Okay? This number tells how many equal parts, and I'm not sure if you can see that equal very well, but it tells how many equal parts that the whole is broken into. Now, remember, when we're talking about fractions, it has to be equal parts. If they're not equal parts, they are not fractions. The next word that we need to know is the numerator. The numerator is the number that is on top of the fraction. This is the number that tells us how many pieces there are that you are interested in. So let's take a look at this fraction right here. I have the fraction 5/6. The top number is the numerator. That talks to me about how many pieces I'm interested in. If I give you 5/6 of my candy bar, you're only interested in the 5 pieces that I'm giving you, not the extra one. The bottom number, 6, is the denominator. And the 6 tells us how many equal parts that whole candy bar is broken into. Okay, so that's what we need to know about fractions. We're going to start with talking about adding and subtracting those fractions. Okay. When we add and subtract fractions, at this point you can go ahead and turn over into the practice section of your notebook. When we add and subtract fractions, the first thing that we're going to look at is when we add and subtract fractions that have the same denominator. Now that means that the number on the bottom is the same. So if you look at these pictures, okay, and I kind of colored them in a little bit wrong here today. Okay, if you look at these pictures, you will see 1/4. That means this piece of candy bar is broken into 4 sections, and I have 1/4 of it taken. Okay, when we add 1/4 plus another 1/4, if I take that same candy bar and shade in another 1/4 of that candy bar, how many pieces will be shaded all together? Okay, and that is where we get this answer. When we add fractions, you're going to basically say 1/4 plus 1/4 is the same as 2/4. When we add or subtract fractions, and here is the rule, when adding or subtracting fractions, the same denominator, you have to add with the same denominator, you add or subtract the numerator only. The denominator will stay the same. So as you've noticed in this problem up here, we added or subtracted the numerator only. That was the 1 plus 1 is 2. But the denominator of 4 stayed the same. Because we're not changing the number of pieces that our candy bar is broken into. We are simply adding pieces together. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about this subtraction one that I have down here. You can write all of this into your practice section. What happens if we have 3/4? Here's my candy bar and it's broken into 4 pieces. I've shaded 3 of them. So what happens when I have 3/4 and I want to subtract 1/4 of that? So that means I'm going to take 1 away because it fell on the floor and I couldn't eat it. How much will I have left? You can tell by looking that I will have 2/4 left. All we had to do was take the numerators only, the 3 minus 1, and that's our answer 2. But the denominator stayed the same, so 4 and 4 and 4. So adding and subtracting fractions is really quite easy. The only thing you have to worry about is the numerator on top. Okay, let's go ahead and give you some practice problems to work on at home. Okay, the first problem is written here, and it is 5/6 minus 3/6. Go ahead and write your answer here. And then I want you to draw a picture like I did on the practice board to show me how you solve that problem. Your second problem is 2/7 plus 3/7. Go ahead and write your answer here and then draw a picture in your book to show me how you solve that problem. And your last problem is 6/9 minus 2/9. Just write the answer. You don't have to write a picture for that last one, just the answer. And of course, as always, write down any questions that you may have so that we can discuss those tomorrow in class. Have a good evening.